Welcome back to the Sloppy Horror Podcast, than VHS 2. Found footage is a subgenre that seems to reemerge its head every decade with a fresh take on POVs. Wherever you're joining us from today, we can't fucking thank you enough. And without any further introduction, here is our take on VHS 2. Welcome back to the Sloppy Horror Podcast. I am your host and your scary movie companion. Don't you forget that, Mr. Christian Ramey. And back again for another week, another season, clapping your ass cheeks and spitting in your mouth for no reason. Mr. Ozark Mark, the best producer in the whole wide world. And you know what makes this special? Because this season is Mr. Ozark's season, all right? He's picking some movies. We're going to get to the bottom of why he's picking movies and what kind of movies he's picking. That's what I'm interested about. But we're just glad to have you back, all right? And we take a week break, but it feels like forever, okay? When you're not here for that week, I put like a little picture up with your face, on that chair over there. And, just some sad music. I cry a little bit. We won't get into the other stuff. I miss you, and I'm glad you're back. So, here is what's happening. Mark, why don't you tell the fine folks out there what's the reason for the season? Okay, aside from Jesus, but what's the reason for the season?
The reason for the season, boys and girls, it's the Ozark season. That's right, bitches. It's my season. Mm-hmm. That's right. I sat here for over 90-something plus movies, letting Christian Ramey, the horror nerd himself, pick the fucking movies. Guess what? It's my fucking turn to pick the fucking movies. I'm going to pick 5 movies that most of you probably heard of because, I'm not a horror nerd, so I don't go that deep. But figured give Christian Ramey a little break here, get some movies out of his realm that he's usually used to. Mm-hmm. That's the whole purpose of it. And today, I wanted to kick this off with a little fun time movie gem from the VHS series. I've only seen the first one and the second one, so I decided to go with VHS 2 for the movie this week.
I've only seen the first and second as well.
Well, good. Then we're in the same boat here.
We're in the same ship, paddling along
down the little river.
We're working down the river.
Yes, but VHS 2, I remember discovering these movies when they first came out. I believe I found them on Netflix one day when I was bored. I found the first VHS. I had no clue what it was. I just said, fuck it. Mm-hmm. Started to turn it on. And it was just a bunch of random weird-ass videos. Little mini horror stories, little mini videotapes. And I thought it was fun. I liked it. They were all shot like first-person, Blair Witch kind of style-esque. And it was just fun. They were funny movies. There's fun, lots of gore, lots of nudity, everything that you're trying to kind of want in your horror films there.
Well, Eduardo Sanchez and, forgive me, I forget the producer, because all of these shorts were made by different directors, okay?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not going to remember all their names, but the people from, You're Ready, people from Blair Witch Project. I mean, there was people from all over that really kind of stepped in. So that's kind of fun to see different aspects of it. So that's why you got a little bit of a feel of that.
Yes.
That's why.
Yes. Little did I know at the time.
Folks, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you a little synopsis of this show. We're going to break that down. But now that we're back for a new season, hey,
fucker.
Hey, you fucker.
Hey, fucker, you listening. Listen up, you fucker.
Now, here's what I'm telling you guys. We have this show for you that we hope entertains you each and every week, each and every season. But you're going to make it through this whole episode with 0 advertisements. Do you understand?
That's none for the rest of you.
None. Yeah, none. I think that's 0. That's under 1. That's 1 less than 1.
Yes.
So that's 0. There will be 0 advertisements for this whole show because we don't really believe in that. Unless these ads really pertain to horror or Ozark and I, we're not. It's not what this show's about. So thankfully, You guys help keep the lights on around here through a Patreon. And if you guys don't know what a Patreon is, that's a website where we put up bonus episodes, okay? These aren't enough for you, and you want to learn a little bit more about Ozark Mark and I, there's Patreon episodes, very cheap. Cheap is $3 a month. You can go to patreon.com/sloppyhorror. And on top of that, if you're like, look, I'm not really into that, but I'd rock some shit. I would rock a Sloppy Horror Podcast t-shirt. Well, you could find that because Mr. Ozark Mark, not only does he produce great podcast episodes, he makes some pretty cool fucking merchandise. And you can find links for that underneath all of our videos, or if you're an audio listener, you can find it down in the description. But generally on our YouTube videos, it pops up underneath if it's allowed to be monetized. So check that out. And we thank you guys for helping us and keeping the lights on. So boom, there's your zero advertisement.
There you go.
Yeah.
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 Your butthole is a little bit more open now. Congratulations.
So in this movie, obviously we have some turmoil with Macaulay Culkin and his parents. He goes to the library. He meets Christopher Lee. There's 3 books. He falls into a cartoon. He gets to be friends with these books. And they kind of fall into different stories, like Jack and the Beanstalk. And he makes it home, and he's happy he's a reader.
Pretty much sums it up. Thank you.
Yeah, that's Pagemaster. That's a good one. All right. If you guys haven't seen Pagemaster, highly recommend it. It's kind of slept on. No. What we have here, this movie kind of starts off with 2 private investigators, Larry and Aisha, I think are their names. These motherfuckers are trying to spy on somebody cheating on each other, some adultery they're getting on film, okay?
They're going to bang in a motel.
But then what happens next is they're trying to find this missing college kid. His mom sets out to find this kid. They end up finding him shacked up in this weird, like, little abandoned house, and he's got, like, all these TVs fucking set up, some serial killer shit, and all these VHS tapes laying around. So they start going through them, and then you're watching them as they go on. And it leads to a build-up. Because they dying in the house too, you know, the kid's still there. But all these are different. You have different ones. There's different styles. And we can go in through all the stories. I think they're jotted down over there with Ozark Mark, and we can kind of go one down another, like, you know, just kind of break down a couple minutes of each. But this is the first time I ever watched this movie.
Really? Holy shit. Holy shit. This is probably the only movie from my selection that you probably watched for the first time. This is fantastic. It's like we switch roles here. This is great. I never thought I would pick a movie that Christian Ramey has never seen.
Yeah, I saw the first one. I never saw the second one.
So I get to ask what did you think of it? This is exciting. I'm not getting like chubby or anything, but I'm getting a little tingly.
I'm not gonna say I hate it.
Right.
I'm not going to say I hate it, because I don't hate it. But I think this movie, it aged kind of... found footage movies are hard. You know? Because there's something for me, like, that the Blair Witch did so well, is it actually feels like it's a video camera. It feels like it's a video camera, and the people behind it, like, those people you were like, oh, shit, this is for real. Like, these people actually got a camera. It feels like I'm actually watching people. Some movies feels like there's an actor, like it feels like it's found footage, but it's actors, and it works well if it's really high budget, like Cloverfield, for example. That was found footage, but it felt like a movie found footage, right? So that was really popular in this era, and it's really jumpy with the cuts. It's really overkill with the cuts, but there's some delicious gore in this movie. I love that it does. For my ADHD, I like anthologies because they're just like, boom, new stories, and I like that. And they're all pretty fucking unique and cool. So, like, I don't hate it, but it's going to sit on me for a little bit before I go into like or love. So I'm like right at, like, I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Like, I enjoyed it, but I don't hate it. I don't love it. I'm somewhere in the middle, and
this isn't one of my top horror movies at all, but it's fun. It's a switch up from what, you know, a regular movie. It's different. That's probably why I liked them.
You know the cuts I'm referring to, although, like, almost like a Cloverfield or a Fourth Kind, which movies both I enjoy, but there's something really indicative of that time frame of the camcorder, like, kind of like...
Yeah.
And sometimes, I really do love implied and horror, but sometimes you're like, motherfucker, hold the frame, and I want to see it. Every time something happens, the camera goes out, like, you know. But there's a lot of creativity in each.
Yeah. And I picked this one versus the first one because the first one, all the videos are shot like they are being shot with camcorders. So the quality is kind of hard to get through in the first one. But the second reason why I picked the second one is because they started using like some guy's eye camera in the first story, which we'll get into. We got GoPros, we got like better quality.
What did that
cameras.
eye story remind you of?
Fucking
Remember Body Bags?
yeah.
And there was the 3 stories, and it had Luke Skywalker, and he had like the serial killer eye. It was the same movie where it's like, oh, weirdo, huh? The gas station guy.
Yeah.
Like, that was a good movie.
Yeah, so we got the first tape is basically the clinical trials of basically this guy got into a car accident. He gets some futuristic eye that he can see out of, but it's like a robotic eye, but they're recording as a clinical trial.
Which is weird. How are you supposed to watch porn?
I don't know. I would have fuck it and just did it. I didn't care. Let them watch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would have been looking up weird shit. Like
Yeah, I would have been watching myself stroke it the entire time. Like, you guys want to record this shit?
obese grandma porn.
Pregnant porn.
Ah.
Yeah. Some people are into that, which is fucking weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, he starts seeing like these ghost things pop up and glitchy and shit, and then of course it's the first one's a lot of jump scarish type shit, you know. Then this girl comes along, says I can hear him too, right?
She was probably the worst actor from the movie.
Yeah.
I did not like how she just came in just like, oh yeah, by the way, you're hearing shit. Yeah, this is the way it was. Like, it was just so blasé, and you're like, bitch, no, I don't let people in my house. You on drugs? You fucked up? Let's talk about this. What'd you do to me? All right? Well, I'm getting serious. I'm getting serious immediately. He's just like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah,
It's like,
I mean,
he's super simpy about it. I'm like, you want to come into my house? Have you ever been Gatling gunned? Because that's what'll happen. I'll open up the Gatling gun.
Motherfucker needs to clean his pool.
Yeah, dude.
Dirty ass pool. Like, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. Never mind. That just bothered me. But
his innocence is what got him killed. He needed to just start being all reckless. What?
Right. So anyway, he starts seeing these ghosts. They get closer. She's like, I know how to make them go away. They bang. Mm-hmm. So that worked for like a night. And then eventually he's like, well, fuck it. I'm going to cut my eye out. So he cuts his eye out, which is great for the gore. But then they just grab him and then they beat his ass with the eye. And then that's the end of that tape. So.
Yep. The next one, what's that? The hike or the long walk or the long hike or something?
Yeah, the next one is, but first back to the first tape. You know, what would you do in that situation? Like, I don't think cutting out your eye is going to work because you already know they're there. And obviously they can touch you. Like, they grab them at the end.
Going to church, dog.
So you got to start fighting them. You need that eye to fight them.
Oh, I'm going to church, homie.
Yeah, that's what I would do. But
going to church, getting the holy water. Look, not tonight.
Would you be able to bang if a fat man that was drooling blood in his underpants outside was watching you?
Yeah, dog. Give him that. You know.
Dude had a fucking killer ass house though.
Right?
What the fuck does he
Pretty
do for
sick
a living?
digs, dude. Yeah, and it was in California. That was like a fucking $25-30 million house. Easy.
I know.
Easy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, by the way, that's my house.
I know, dude. It's like that movie. It's like that TV show Cribs when they started showing Cribs and to make you feel worse about yourself, like you failed in life.
Mm-hmm. They got like a modern day one where this guy walks up to people on the street, like, how much do you pay for your apartment? And some people pay like really little. Like in New York, he'll find people that are like, I pay $500. And he's like, $500? Get the fuck out of here. Where you live? And they just like live in this crazy little closet looking apartment, and but they deck it out and it's workable. And then you meet some people that are like, a lot.
Yeah.
and they
those
show
people
up
that pay like $500, they were people that really go home anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's pretty interesting though. Now it's gonna pop up on your phone every day.
Absolutely.
But that guy's like, he says he's the modern day Cribs.
Yeah.
And they're, yeah, it's like, I agree. I like that.
Yeah. So then, of course, then we go on to the second tape, which is, I believe it's called Ride in the Park.
Mm-hmm.
But some some guy.
This is the Blair Witch Project people.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, this guy puts a GoPro on his helmet, and he starts riding in the woods.
Let's preface by saying this came out like late 2013, 14. I've seen discrepancy on it. Says 13 and 14. Maybe it was a film festival in 13, theatrical release 14, something like that. Anyways, think about what was going on that time in horror. What was taking over? What was the big thing? You had Walking Dead. You had motherfucking zombies.
Yep.
Zombies were huge in the 2010s.
Yeah,
Like, they were fucking huge.
And this is probably one of my favorite ones of it, because basically you get a GoPro of a whole process of a zombie and what they do. So this guy's riding on the bike, right? And then some girl comes over, help me. You know, and he's trying to help her. Then all of a sudden zombies are starting to come. Like, they got decked out. They got intestines, you know, gushing out. A lot of gore in it. And, of course, he gets bitten. Then you see the process of him becoming a zombie. Mm-hmm. Which is hilarious, by the way. One of the funniest parts is when he, like, bites his own skin. Mm-hmm. Starts to eat himself, and he goes, bleh.
Yeah, he didn't like it.
So then that whole process goes, he finds 2 other people, he eats them, then they start eating each other, and then they form a little pack, and then they go into this birthday party in the park.
Kids are freaking out. Everybody's freaking out.
Yeah, everybody's freaking out, starting to fight him, and
getting eaten.
Yep, and it's all first person through him, and then he ends up getting a call from his girl, and I guess he has a realization that he's a zombie, and he blows his head off. Yep. But it's cool because you get the GoPro shot of him blowing his head off, and the camera goes flying up. Dude gets hit by a car. Like, there's a lot of action shots in it.
Yes. I think there's a little bit of Crank in this movie. You know that movie Crank?
Yeah.
I feel like there's a little bit of that in this scene particularly. It's just very... what was that one, too? Like that Hardcore Harry, or what the fuck was that called?
Yeah, Hardcore Henry.
Henry, that's what the fuck it was.
Yeah, that came out around that time, too, I believe.
Uh-huh. That's what that reminded me of, but that one fucking idiot with the shotgun, that dude just needed to be quick and nimble, and he would have survived the whole thing. There was like 6 of them.
Yeah, I know.
We would have been on it, dog.
Well, I would have destroyed him.
Yeah, dude.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I thought that was kind of cool, seeing the first-person view of the whole zombie process and stuff.
It was pretty neat.
It was pretty neat. So then things start getting weird, and they go into the third tape, which is Safe Haven.
That one was kind of weird. That was the one with like the cult people, the weird little covenant of weirdos.
Yeah, this is when the tapes are starting to get the tapes are getting more ridiculous as you progress. But I think this is the most ridiculous one. Mm-hmm. So it's like these cult people in some Asian country.
It's in Indonesia.
Indonesia. Whatever. So it's like a cult, right? So, and these people are going to interview him because they never let anybody inside. Then they end up, this guy, the leader, lets them do an interview, but it's like the day of their reckoning or whatever the fuck. I don't know what they're doing.
It's a mass suicide.
Yeah, so then
It's a mass suey-wooey.
Yeah, it's a mass suicide starts happening. Like, kids drank the poison. Guns everywhere, people killing themselves left and right, other people shooting other people left and right. And then they go down to the basement and they find some lady trying to give birth to some demon, but it doesn't work for something. And then there's a lady in the group of the filmmakers who is pregnant with one of the other guys in the groups, not who's supposed to be.
Demon baby.
Whore. Okay. Hua. And then you find that out, but then
get rid of her.
And then the cult like grabs her and they do some spell, and then she like births this fucking flying demon. It's just fucking coming out of the table, all ridiculous.
Yeah, that was
straight crawling out. It looks awful, but it's funny. And a bunch of death everywhere, and then it turns up, that guy that was trying to get away the whole time, at the end, the monster's like, Dada. So that's the sum it up of that. But that one was fun. That was a cool one. There was a lot of death in that tape.
It was a good time.
A lot of graphic, a lot of blood, a lot of gore, a lot of freaky weird shit in that one. Mm-hmm. So that was cool. And then the final tape is this college alien abduction sleepover or whatever the fuck it's called. So it's just these group of kids. And they did spot on with these kids of what happens when your parents go out of town. Mm-hmm. Okay? So you invite all your friends over. You're like 12 and 13. You guys are cussing up a storm, like every which way.
Doing drugs.
Okay? One of the kids have a hot older sister, so what do? You fuck around and try and catch her fucking, which they do, and fuck with her that way.
They caught her.
Yep. And then the sister ends up catching the kid, waxing his carrot around all of his friends while they're sleeping, which is also hilarious.
You ain't beating it, are you?
And then the whole presence is aliens, like like War of the Worlds, like the flashlights. They're trying to outrun these aliens, and of course they don't make it. Sums up that tape.
They should have danced.
Should have.
The aliens would have been confused.
Which was your favorite tape of all of them? What would you say?
I would say the alien would be up there. I don't know. I thought the cult one was the weirdest. Just the freakiest. I feel like that had the premise to be a whole movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because, there's a lot. They show you pretty much everything. They show you dudes getting shotgunned in the back of the head. They show you, people in a room shooting themselves in the head. They show the dead kids. They show, some random guy fucking another girl on a mattress and, blood squirting out of her ass or some shit. I don't know what the hell's going on. And then it shows these girls becoming all undead demons or whatever the fuck's going on. It's just crazy. Mm-hmm. And they had that Blair Witch kind of stick shit in there too.
Mm-hmm. I noticed that.
Yeah.
So that one was probably the weirdest. Which one did you like the most?
The ride in the park was the funniest.
Mm-hmm.
That was just a fun little time.
Yeah.
The GoPro,
definitely a FUBU.
Yeah. POV zombie was pretty fucking funny. I liked all the action in it. They did a lot of action shots in it.
Him eating his own arm and shit. That is funny. How can you not like that?
And then, of course, once the tapes are done, I still don't know what the premise is of it. I guess if you watch the tapes, these certain tapes, you get taken over and become some kind of creature or something. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Because one of the private investigator, the girl, she passes out or dies by the third tape. And then she's just laying there. And then dudes ends up watching that fourth tape. And the kid that they're looking for is, creeping around the house throughout the movie, which they don't notice. But he ends up making a tape of his own at the end on his computer, and he shoots himself in the mouth, but he survives, right before they get into the house. Mm-hmm. So then he goes, and then by the end of the movie, he's got, his tongue hanging out, mouth wide open, looking like some kind of alien creature, and he kills them. So I still don't know the main story of these tapes, or the VHS. I don't know. There's 3 other ones. Maybe that might explain it more. I don't know.
Doesn't have to make sense.
Doesn't have to make sense. You watch it for the VHS tapes, not the actual story itself.
They're just weird tapes.
Weird tapes.
America's most fucked up videos.
That's basically what it's called.
Yeah.
What it is.
That's what it should be called.
Would you, if you were in a random house and there was a bunch of VHS tapes, would you watch them?
Yeah. Oh, for sure, dude. For sure.
What would you do if you got a couple tapes in and they were tapes like these? Would you keep watching, or would you be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'd watch them and sell them. I'd sell them.
Yeah, because I think that's what they were going to do in the first one.
Mm-hmm. I'd post shorts of it on all over, and I'd make money, and then I'd sell the footage, and then I would, get a little beach house, let it be somebody else's burden. It's on you guys now. You guys are the owners of this voodoo. We're not getting involved. We're not messing around. That's what I would say. Would you watch them?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd watch them.
There's this guy. I don't know if maybe he is on TikTok or YouTube or some shit, but he takes old tapes and he watches them that he finds, and he finds them at thrift stores and yard sales and shit. He found one, and it's a dog wedding, and there was guests and people, and like a legit catered wedding, and there were 2 dogs that got married. He's like, this is by far my favorite tape I've ever found. Just look up dog wedding VHS next time you get bored. You'll find it.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Who would get rid of that?
I don't know. I don't know.
I just want, yeah, that's some dangerous finding there if you find a VHS in a thrift store.
Oh, I know.
Never know what's on them bitches.
Nope.
I miss VHS tapes because you'd always used to record things on TV.
Oh yeah, man.
People don't do that shit no more.
If you were quick with it, you could turn it off right at the commercial, and then you start it right back up. That's dedication, bro. You had to be there.
You're right.
They didn't get it. They don't get it. They don't understand these days. The troubles. You ever had to put a red and a white and a yellow cord on the back of a television set to play games, or to screw a coaxial cable behind an impossible dresser and TV? You had to reach your arms.
That's the hardest thing to do.
Like you had to reach your arm around and then fucking just try to wiggle it off.
Because you can't maneuver the TV because it's on a huge wooden fucking thing, and the bubble TV weighs.
And it will murder you.
Yeah, it will.
Stu and Scream was real. That was real. The TV fell on him and he fucking died, bro. Like that's the way life works. It's like, unstrapping a bra for the first time. You're like, what kind of wizardry is happening on your back right now? I can't make that. Just do it. Just pull your titties out. I'm not doing this.
So I want an old ass, like 500-pound big screen TV.
Like one of the Trinitrons, like the one, like the first flat screens?
Yeah, the first huge, flat, big-ass box fucking big screen TVs.
Mm-hmm. Those were a bitch to move. I remember moving those.
You had to move those? Oh, God. How'd you do it?
With a lot of people.
You didn't use a dolly or those, like, moving straps? You guys just fucking lifted it?
Maybe dolly to the house sometimes, but no, the one big part was their base was usually smooth, so, like, if you had, like, carpeted stairs, you just get somebody, 2 people on the bottom and just kind of work it down, and when it got down to the bottom, too, that's when you pick it up, and then you just kind of work her into place.
It would suck because maneuvering it would be hard because all those old houses back in the day, they had old tight corners and shit.
That's the one part I don't understand. Like, people were tinier back in the day, right? And furniture was fucking bigger and heavier. How does this work? Like, how did it work? Like, were people just jacked? Like, I don't know. These are answers we'll never know. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Look, you're starting off with all these different movies. I would have never picked this movie, Mark.
I know. That's why I picked it. That's why I started it off. Now, the 4 next movies you probably would have picked at one point in time.
Okay. Well, I'm down for that.
I got 3 off the top of my head. I don't know what the 4th one is yet. But we'll figure that out when we get to that road.
Mm-hmm.
But
I have a hunch that it's Dunstan Checks In.
It might be. It might fucking be. But
great movie.
But for now, let's find out more things about this movie here, VHS 2. You there, welcome to the only one and only. What do you know here? This is a segment here of the show where we're here to tell you something that you may or may not know about this movie. Now, this is a new season. You might have just got here for the first time. This is how it's going to go down. We're going to tell you things we know about this movie. Now, you may know what we know. You may not know what we know. But if you don't know what we know, you're going to find out what we know, and you're going to have a ween-orgasm. But if you know what we know, you already know together, we're all going to have a ween-orgasm. It's going to come at you like a surprise. You know, like walking in on somebody eating hot dogs and hot chocolate.
Who boils hot dogs?
I don't know. Who eats hot dogs with chocolate milk?
Some people's, but look here.
But
don't boil hot dogs.
But it's going to be surprised, though, either way. So next time you walk in on somebody eating a hot dog and chocolate milk, you're going to be like, hey, that surprised me. Like a what do you know fact off the Sloppy Horror podcast.
Why are you eating Twinkies with mustard?
That's disgusting.
Classic yellow.
can't put you don't make yellow. You don't put two yellow things together. It doesn't
true.
work.
That's
it does
true.
not work. Think about it.
2 yellows, you'll be a bad fellow.
Exactly. So why don't you tell me something that you may or may not know about this movie?
Look, I know a couple things about this movie.
So please tell me.
When you have films like this where people are kind of hodgepodge and they're all working together, they're all throwing their little 2 cents in here, what's the one thing that movies need the most to get made?
A camera.
Yes, but they need the money.
Okay.
They need money.
Okay.
And these guys, they had, just like the first movie, they had great sponsorship from the Bloody Disgusting. You know, you familiar with these guys? They
Yes,
do great
sir.
articles, things like that.
Yeah.
And that's just nice to know that, we got people out there helping make movies like this. And generally, I like a lot of their articles, a lot of the things. It's good stuff. So, when you're watching these movies, know that these are kind of Bloody Disgusting sponsored movies.
That's great. They do a good job. They sponsor good movies. Good for them.
So, mister, do you got some...
Like NASCAR and Tide.
Yeah. Or,
Yeah.
any kind of advertisements on there. They got lots of them.
Sure. But some places don't have a lot of advertisements. Anyways,
Yes.
let me go tell you something that I know about this movie. Now, one of the tapes, I think it's the 3rd tape of this movie, The Safe Haven.
Oh, the creepy people.
Yeah, where they go into creepy people, they do a bunch of creepy things and they all die and they spawn some big lizard. Whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, the horned creature
That
and the cult.
tape was originally supposed to be 45 minutes long.
Well, that's a long
Holy
movie.
shit, that's a goddamn movie pretty much.
I'd watch it.
So I'd watch it too.
I'd watch it.
But the reason why is because they were going to put in more background about the film crew and all that. But of course, they shortened it down, which I'm glad they did because I don't want to watch a tape for 45 minutes if I already got to watch other tapes. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it clean. Let's keep it nice and easy. Let's keep it 1, 2, buckle my shoe. Here we go. And that's what they did.
I like all that.
Yeah. That was my fact.
My children, they sing that song over and over and over.
What song?
The 1,
2,
2,
buckle my shoe. 3, 4.
buckle some more. They sing that all the fucking time.
Why did they learn that from?
That little fucking TikTok.
Oh, is it TikTok?
Yeah, it's a boy. It's very funny. You should watch it. He sings the song. It's very hysterical and funny, but these kids, I took my son, he has baseball games, and he's out there on the field. I gotta go up and get a hot dog for my other kids. So I'm standing in line, and there's these 7-year-old kids in front of me, and they just he likes stanky legs with his cleat on. He's another little baseball boys, and they, but they're not playing. They're getting treats. And he does the stanky leg, and he just goes, 1, 2, back of my... And I was like, what is happening right now? What is it? Because I want to laugh,
Yeah,
Because it is funny, but
that's
I
one
gotta
of
be
those
serious.
instances where you want to punch a kid.
Yes, but I did
Everybody
want to
has
laugh.
that urge. Anyways, do you know any more facts about this movie?
No, I just the 1, 2, buckle my shoes.
Oh, that's good. Two facts for the second VHS. 2.
2.
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
Well, I guess until the next time.
Yeah, I'm a little rusty. It's a new season, so we're gonna go now.
I'll get better.
Okay.
It's like that age-old question, Mark.
Hit me with it.
Well, if Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear and Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair, well, Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't fuzzy, was he? I mean, he wasn't. He didn't have hair. I mean...
You can be fuzzy in different ways.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Right.
It's good to be back. It's good to be talking about movies. I know a lot of people like these, VHS movies. At first, I just thought it was pronounced Vish. Vishta. Oh, this is foreign.
Hey, man, you ever seen them movies?
Bro, I would lose it if somebody...
Great. I hate you. Now I'm going to call him that from now on.
I love Vish. Yep. That's just, it's something that your brain has to do. It's horrible. I mean, it's a horrible habit to have. You hear, see movie titles or hear song lyrics, and it's just in your brain to change them and make them funny. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people take, life too serious. I know you don't, but I'm saying sometimes people do.
People definitely do, for sure. Mm-hmm. That's why you got to watch movies like these.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. This is definitely a fun time movie. Like, I would definitely give it a FUBU stamp, a for us, by us horror movie. And then I'm telling you, eventually one of these seasons we'll roll out, make a graphic, a little badge, We need a couple little rankings that we have, and we can make up new badges as we go. But I know we got the FUBU. I know we have a fun time badge, so this gets 2 right off the bat. This is a fun time, no doubt about it.
It's something that you don't really have to. It's a movie that you don't have to follow. It's not a story base. You don't have to know the characters.
And I wouldn't say it's like really over the top terrifying. It's just kind of badass in the sense of like you just see some cool shit. Like it's like a action horror and many different clips. So you could definitely get sucked in, but I don't think there's like the one issue that I would have like with shorts is you really don't have the ability. I mean, even with Creepshow, Body Bags, all of it. If it's a short, it could be really cool and it pulls you in, but then the movie's over. So it doesn't have the impact of maybe like a 45-minute build that like, hits in a different way. But I usually just find them cool. But we were predicated on that. Tales from the fucking Crypt, Goosebumps, like all these little fucking shows that just had like short little horror stories. And we're just like, yep. We throw them at us, dog, like we're used to them.
Right. And I think that, these movies are more relevant today than they were when they came out, especially now with all movie shorts. Everything is short. Everybody wants TikTok shorts. Everybody wants just short little clips and move on. Short little clips and move on. Sometimes people don't want to sit down and watch an hour and a half, 2-hour long movie.
Or a show.
Or a show.
This is the last episode, man. I'm so mad. I'm just kidding. A lot of you guys do, and we love you guys. Wherever you're at in this world, okay? Wherever you're at, time is valuable because money, you can get money back. You blew it all, whatever. It could suck to make it back, but you can get it back. You never get time back that you wasted, so you treat that valuable. And when you guys give us some of your time, we appreciate that. I mean, we do.
We
That's
appreciate
no sarcasm.
that. Yeah. I'm going to give you.
Oh, yeah, the shocker.
Oh, yeah.
One in your butthole.
Yeah. Two in the pink. 2 in the pink and 1 in the stink, baby. Mm-hmm. That's what this movie gives you. Mm-hmm. Gives you a little time, a little short thing of pleasure. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. But I am surprised that you've never seen this, so I was shocked.
Yeah, we're not doing the shocker. I'm doing the Betty Crocker. 2 in the stink, 1 in the pink. We're fucking your whole world up today because it's the Ozark season.
You're a renovator, aren't you?
All kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff.
That's what this season is. 2 in the stink, 1 in the pink.
Yep. The Betty Crocker.
Oh, God. Okay. Well, why don't we go ahead and see where this movie rates on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating system?
Yeah.
Sloppy Horror rating, baby, yeah!
Hey, you fucker. Welcome.
Stop. That hurts my fucking feelings,
Welcome to the one and only Sloppy Horror Podcast, right up in your ass horror movie rating system developed by the horror nerd himself, your scary movie companion, Christian Ramey. He has developed a horror movie ranking system that ranks a horror movie based on a horror movie, not a movie in general. Now, a low score doesn't mean a bad movie. A good score doesn't mean a good movie. It just means the type of score a horror movie is on your level of horror that you're looking for.
How big of a horror is it?
It's a big one. It's a big one. Like, can't fit through the door. Mm-hmm. For sure. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anyways, this is how it's going to go. We're going to do this as a series of 4 categories. 3 of the categories are worth 3 points. Last category is worth 1.48, so it's all love.
10 points altogether.
That is fucking correct. Profanity.
Diamond cutter.
So, let's get into the first category here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is casting.
Probably its weakest category. I really feel like it's going a 1 on casting. because this is its weakest category. There were times, because acting in horror movies is right there. But it was back to the element I said, when I'm watching a found footage, I want it to look like I'm looking at people. Like, like when people are watching this, they know this isn't like, hey, Mark, what's going on? Like, there's a level of, like, bad acting behind that. So this is its weakest category, but I have to go 1 point, okay? Because I don't know any of these people. A few of them pissed me off, and maybe they're limited by script because it is a short, okay? So I'm not denying that. But these aren't great actors.
No. And I don't think a movie like this you could have well-known actors in it.
Wahlberg's not doing this.
No. No, but you can't because it's a found footage style. So when you have a found footage style, you're doing your best to make it look like found footage and real, even though everybody knows that it's not. But you can't have somebody that's recognizable in the fucking film. So with that, you're not going to get the best acting, so that makes sense. That is 1 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the second category here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is kills.
Easy 3. Easy 3. It's all over the map. There's, like, guns, there's zombies. There's just too much carnage in this movie.
There's guns, there's eating, there's stabbing, there's
demons.
suffocation, there's demons, there's ripping heads off, there's everything.
Aliens.
There's death throughout this whole fucking movie.
Yeah. I mean, and it's constant, and it's intense, and pretty sick, pretty awesome. Like, sick in a good way. So, I think this is an easy 3. It's probably its strongest category.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of gore, a lot of everything in it. So, that's good. So that is 4 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the third, final 3-point category, and that is fear.
I'm in between a 1 and a 1.5 on this. Even though I think casting is the weakest category, I think that this is like in between, almost like a 1.25, because I'm sure people can be terrified by this, like, because it's newer, it's relevant. So let's just go for 1.5, because I think you could put this on for teenagers and it would freak them the fuck out.
Yeah,
it's still like relevant like that. It's not like a retro horror film where people are like, oh, I just like this. It's not that. I think you could put this on for teenagers, or maybe your wife, your girlfriend, whatever, and she might be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, found footage can have that ability, especially with the amount of gore that it shows, the amount of death that it shows, and the intensity that some of these short films get to.
Right.
There are some very intense moments that, especially first person, when you're running and things are going on, that can create some fear into you. Especially if you showed it to a fragile mind. If you show it to a young, developed mind, like, they think it would be real.
Oh, yeah.
And they'd be fucking scared.
For sure. So 1.5 feels comfortable for me.
Okay. So that is 5.5 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the final 1-point category for half a point each here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is rewatchability.
This is the first time I can truly answer this question.
I know. It's weird. Now you know what it's like to be me. We switched places.
I would say I'm not going to go off of my opinion. I'm going to go, am I going to rewatch this? I don't know. But if it was on, I wouldn't not watch it. But I think this has a lot of rewatchability because ADHD. Like, you can, like, put it on, like you said, it's not, like, crazy intensive where it's going to keep you, like, you have to focus the whole time. American Horror Story feels the same way for me. I know that sounds crazy, but it gets jumpy, it's wild, and it's like, but it's something that's cool as background noise while you're getting your knob polished, or while you're twisting one up, or you're eating some ice cream, or whatever you're doing, and this falls in that category. So, yes, I'd say rewatchability, 0.5 point for me. What say you, Ozark?
I'd say yes, it is rewatchable. Just for that second, it's something like you nailed it on the head. You can put it on whenever. You don't have to follow it. It's good background, especially for someone who hasn't seen it. You'd like to show them to them, and you some tapes you like more than others, but there's all kinds of crazy shit in them. You remember shit from this movie, and that you probably want to see again, that you didn't expect. You didn't know shit was going to happen in some of these tapes that happen. It's unpredictable sometimes, so it's cool to watch that. But again, easy to rewatch. Don't have to follow it.
Don't have to.
Don't have to pay attention. So that's one of the key elements of being a rewatchable movie. One of the strongest points of it. So That is a total of 6.5 out of 10 for VHS2 here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast, right up in your ass. So there you go.
That's it.
Scored a lot higher than I thought it would.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I mean, it has the elements of horror there. I can't deny that. I mean, the people who made this make horror movies, so it's like, you can't deny that. You can't deny that.
Right.
Although I will add with rewatchability, it doesn't have to be mindless to be rewatchable, but you have to be like Jaws. That's a great fucking movie, super rewatchable, but that's more in detail. But you have to be. The movie doesn't take itself too serious, and in this case, I think that really helps its watchability big time.
Yeah, I mean, this movie was kind of like a mix of the ridiculousness of older horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like just how sometimes how just ridiculous they are.
Yeah.
While combining it with the effort to make it look like it really happened, but to be ridiculous as possible with it. So.
Ridiculousness.
Yes.
That's Mark's favorite show. It's the only thing on MTV.
That's pretty much MTV now. They should just call it the Ridiculousness Channel.
Remember when they played music?
Yeah.
And they had like MTV News.
Yep,
that was like a viable
That was
news
before
source.
I started hulking my pecker. They played music, but now they don't.
They don't like it. They should call it MTV, not music television.
Is there even a music channel anymore?
I don't know. I don't even I guess cable's a thing.
Well,
Yeah, I
it
mean,
used
I
to
guess
be. I remember it used to be Fuse, but then they started making shows and went down the MTV route. Which, hey, look, you can't blame them. They found a way to make more money by exploiting pregnant teens and watching guys do pranks to each other, and then started watching internet videos and making fun of them.
What are you gonna do?
That's how it went.
What are you gonna do?
How it went and how it goes.
That's the way she blows. See what I did there?
I seen it.
So, what kind of hints are we getting for next week's episode?
You ain't getting nothing.
That's bullshit, dude.
Nope, you gotta wait like everybody else, because I'm gonna sit over here and I'm gonna enjoy the little bit of power that has been invested in me.
By the good United States of America.
Yes, you're a great American. But they're gonna be fun, and they're not gonna be what you're gonna typically used to here on this podcast. We're going a little bit off the rails here. Some you might can predict. Some you cannot. Like this one. You didn't predict this one. You had no idea. You had no fucking clue.
I told everyone. I made a billboard in Los Angeles. Ozark's first movie is VHS 2.
Vicious.
VH 2. VH 2?
Vish 2. Now, after seeing 1 and 2,
VShoop.
just like me, are you interested in watching the other ones?
I would watch the other ones, yeah.
I think I'm going to try and give the other ones a whirl, too.
I would throw them in the wheelhouse there.
I believe there was, I don't know how many there are. I remember seeing it when I was searching it to watch it. There was a VHS 94 and a VHS viral. I think there might be 2 more. Not sure. Do not quote me on that.
I love the Vish movies.
They're really good and scary.
Vish movies are really good, scary. I like that, man. That is good stuff. But what can you do? I like that you threw some 2010 horror movies in there, because I usually don't cover a lot of those, and I like that you did.
You gotta put you out of your comfort zone a little bit, boys and girls.
I'm nervous. But it makes us well and wide variety. You have a wide variety here, Mark. I can't just cover one decade or a few different decades. We need them all in here. And that's where you come in, all right? You pick up the slack. Just like when you made all that merchandise that you can find the link for down in the description. Like when you edit all of our Patreon episodes that are at patreon.com/sloppyhorror for as cheap as $3 a month. And you produce all those.
I like what you did there.
Yes,
That was a nice little segue into a plug.
it was.
Plugs.
So, here's what I want to do, all right? Ozark and I, we have rented a plane with parachutes. We are going to skydive into one of your cities, okay? One of your cities, and we are going to have a live show. That's what we need to do.
See, that is one of the scariest fucking things ever, is seeing videos of people when their parachute's not working.
Yeah, I need to be tandem. I need to be with the dude behind me that knows what he's doing. And we're jumping out with a few people so we can fly towards him.
Summer is on the way, boys and girls. It is starting to get hot. I'll give you a hint of what the next movie is. Are you ready?
Yep.
It's when the air conditioning goes out.
Forrest Gump.
That is a fucking scary movie. Like, if you show me a movie, somebody head cut off, getting run by a killer, some psychiatric stuff, nothing. But if you show me a movie where the AC goes out, that's scary, dog.
I'm the opposite. I'm like the Thing. I'm like, dude, fuck the Thing. I don't want to be in the cold. I don't like this.
I'm like a husky. Just sit out there in the snow.
I'm like a lizard. Just sitting in the sun.
Sitting under the red lamp.
That's how my little chihuahua is.
Eating bugs.
He goes out there and just sits in the sun, and he's the happiest I've ever seen him.
Dude, a lot of animals sunbathe.
They love it.
They do.
It's like their shit. They're getting vitamins from the earth.
Yeah.
From the sun.
A lot of vitamin D.
Yep. That's short for vitamin dick.
I don't know, God. Haven't heard that one before.
Look, everybody, I'm going to give your sister some vitamin D. And a son.
Yes. So, make sure you go to that Patreon. Make sure you send us messages and naked pictures of your sister.
Yes, if she's legal of age.
Please. That is very important.
Mm-hmm.
That is very important.
Importance.
Importance.
So, if you guys would like to get a hold of us, reach out to us, do that. And make sure you're following us on all the socials. For the people watching on YouTube, please subscribe, like the videos, leave some comments. There's a lot of people who have rated the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We really appreciate you guys. I think we're at a 4.7 out of 5.
Hot damn.
That's pretty impressive. We thank you guys for that.
Hot damn.
I don't know. We could be 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 5 on Spotify. I don't think we are, but we thank you guys.
I have no clue. But yes, make sure
guys
you're
are the
commenting. Let me know if you've ever seen this movie in the comments. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know how good of a job I'm doing picking out the movies. Did I pick a good first movie? I don't know, but you got to tell me. So make sure you're telling us that, you fuckers.
Yep.
Okay? And stay tuned because the Ozark season has just begun. We got 4 more episodes until we get closer to the 100th episode. It's coming up. It's closing in. You know how many episodes of the Sloppy Horror Podcast there are? I'm pretty sure this is 93 or 94 right now. That's a lot.
That's a big time.
You fucker. If you've been here since the beginning, you have successfully watched 90-something movies with us.
Thanks, guys.
That's a lot of fucking movies. That's like a bookshelf filled on one of your walls.
Of movies.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of movies you guys have seen.
There's a lot of movies.
And you spend an hour with us on top of it. You guys are wasting time.
I know you guys. You guys really need to get a life.
What losers? Who talks about movies for hours?
You just made me feel real good about myself.
That's okay, Mark. We could be doing worse stuff.
We could be, and we have, but not anymore.
Not anymore. Not ever since we found the power of
Not
marijuana.
anymore. Not anymore. We got gray hairs on our nuts, and we know a lot of things.
When I was young, we'd go out and we'd play ball in the street. We'd break a window or two. That's all right. We just run. They couldn't catch us. We'd go all out and about. Me and my outfit, we'd run all out. We was the toughest around. We'd lift radios and hubcaps. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
You
go
ever
out.
sell cigarettes?
I used to sell candy cigarettes
Uh-huh.
in school. I'd go to the ice cream truck because that's the only place you could get candy cigarettes back in the day. I'd buy a whole fucking carton of them bitches and sell them at school. Who wants candy cigarettes?
You were a little daredevil. I remember what you was doing.
Yeah,
Okay? Mark was setting fire to houses. He was a crazy kid.
I was a businessman at heart.
A businessman doing business things.
Yes. Okay, well, that's it. for this episode. So go fucking watch the movie and shit. And we will see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right.